Now, Brittany,
I have a gold
you
medal
freak
in
out?
MMA fighting.
Hey, oh damn. Let's talk about the MMA fighting.
Yeah, so I did that for a few years until I tore my ACL. I did
Really?
Muay Thai and I did
Really?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, the gold medal was from this Bud World Cup thing, and I beat a Navy SEAL on my way to the top.
All right, so maybe Brittany's not manlier than Woody.
Yeah, it was part of the gun thing. Like, so in terms of like where I ranked in my gym, I think I was kind of in the middle. Like the instructor would just beat me up like I was a girl, but the other people in the class, I kind of fit in. And it was neat to see who's tough and who's not. Like the Army guys, you think a Marine is going to be a tough guy, but they're just regular people. Oftentimes they had better wind because they were in good shape, but there's more to fighting than just that. And Marines are just regular people. Cops are nothing. Prison wardens are nothing. Prison guards, nothing. The fighters were the toughest guys. The guys who had been experienced in the craft.
Yeah, it's not everybody that gets punched in the head on a daily basis.
No,
Yeah, like Kyle, I'll ask you, lifetime, how much fighting experience have you been to, like in minutes?
half hour.
Half an hour, and I think that's a lot.
Yeah,
Probably
right?
like total in-fight experience,
So I was at like 12 hours a week. And, so like people would say, oh, I'm tough, or don't mess with me, I get really mad. And it's like, get really mad? Like, that's like telling me you're good at the guitar because you really like dancing. Or, like I don't care how into it you get, there's a skill involved here. If you take a guy who can't play the piano, it doesn't matter how enthusiastically he tries. He can't play until he learns, until he practices that craft. And it's part of what opened me to the gun thing. Like I had this sort of certain feeling, like it I don't know, it's freeing. If some guy butts in front of me in the line at the movies, that shit is not happening. You're just like, I'm a little more comfortable to saying, hey man, and maybe you didn't see me, but the back is over there. And it kind of, like, when I realized that everybody was armed, it was like, wow, it doesn't matter how tough you are. When, the other guy has a knife. Like, I did this exercise once where, because you do a lot of fighting and you think that you've got something going on. And then I did this exercise where one guy had a black magic marker and I had a white t-shirt.
You can do it with a 5-year-old.
It's like, go try and beat that guy up. And I assure you, it doesn't matter how badass you think you are, you're going to have a black stripe on that t-shirt. He's going to get a cut off on you.
Well, see, you just need to watch more Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because I see her take swords and shit away from people all the time.
Yeah, and then they yell cut.
Yeah, Buffy would kick my ass.
I've seen the exercise too. Like it's part of like the Wing Chun training. And his mic's messing up again. But you can you can have a 5-year-old hold a magic marker against like a Chuck Norris. He will still have like a black line across his shirt.
Oh, fuck that! That little 5-year-old's getting drop kicked. I'm coming at him like a fucking Power Ranger or something.
But see, that black line signifies a lot. It's like your body starts going into shock when you get a cut like that.
Oh yeah.
You start bleeding out. You start getting weaker.
Not necessarily. I mean, it depends on the cut, right? I mean, I've had stitches lots of times in my life, and I don't blast out every time it happens.
I don't know. A lot of people react to that sort of thing differently. A lot of people, if you see you see a pretty deep gash in your wrist or something, like on the back of your arm or something, that's it. They'll freak out. They go into cold sweat. They turn pale. They get shaky. They're done.
It's not the same every time, too. So I had my nose broken 4 times, and one of those times, it took me completely out of the fight. I was here's the whole story. I'll tell it. I had a tumor in my left arm. So it was benign or whatever, but it was in the nerve. So this left arm is paralyzed right after surgery. And I had surgery about 3 days before, and it's in a sling, and I can't move my fingers or anything. My friends come over to cheer me up, and we're headed to the boardwalk in Ocean City, New Jersey. On the way there, we see about 4 or 5 drunk kids, and one of my jackass friends calls him a drunk, which was true, but not wise to say. We get about 100 feet later, and they tell us to turn around. Well, I'm like the slow one, lagging along at the back of the group. And when we turn around, there I am on the front lines. And I'm telling my friends, like, look, guys, we can't get into a fight. I can't help you. I've got one arm paralyzed in a sling, and it's my first day home from the hospital. And they're like, whatever, we're just going to talk. Trust me, nothing's going to happen. Well, my loudmouth friend and some guy on the other side go back and forth for a little bit, and the guy throws the first punch at my friend, and he splits his lip open. So he essentially has 3 lips now, his bottom one and then 2 top lips split all the way up to his nose. And I reach across my body with my right arm to sort of hold him back, and hoping that the thing doesn't escalate, that it's a one punch and then the whole thing ends. And while I'm holding my friend back, another guy hits me in the nose, and he breaks it in 2 places. Now, of the 4 times I've had my nose broken, on this one, I was done for. I was hardly paying attention to the whole fight anymore. One friend was on the ground getting kicked by a few guys. I'm just watching massive amounts of blood pour out of my face. And, you don't know how you're going to react, but sometimes you get popped like that, and you're done fighting. It's just through. And that's what happened to me that time.
And this is also why it drove me to guns. I have no stamina. I'm not in good shape. And I have no fighting prowess whatsoever. But guess what? I can kill you at 700 yards with a snipe rifle, a snipe rifle. I'm a pretty good shot on the move with a handgun. You could be fucking Chuck Norris, and if I have the gun, I feel confident.
It's like that scene from Indiana Jones when like he squares off with that huge guy with the sword, and the guy like starts swinging around doing that crazy stuff, and he just pulls the gun out and shoots him and walks away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think kids get that nowadays. It's like all this fighting prowess you claim, especially on the internet. Especially like my haters. Like, I'll beat your fat ass up and shit like that. I'm like, no, you won't. I'm not gonna have that.
Like you're under the misconception that there's gonna be some kind of hand-to-hand engagement.
Yeah,
that is not happening.
I'll shoot your ass when you ride up on the Huffy, bitch.
Oh. What about you, Brittany? You're named after one of the Power Rangers. Do you have any like super fighting abilities?
No, I think the only actual fist fight I ever got into was with my brother, and we actually threw punches at each other, and that was it.
So how old were you, and what were the ages?
Probably 10 or 11, something like that. He's a year younger than me, so I mean we were young. I don't even know what we were fighting about, but he said something really rude to me, and then we just started throwing punches at each other.
I got a question for you, Brittany.
Uh-huh.
Why do girls always go for the slap in the hair pool?
I don't know, because we hit each other, close fist hit each other, and I think if I were to ever get into a fight, I wouldn't slap somebody.
I asked my sister that before.
I would hit him, close fist hit him.
Not me, I'm a hair puller.
My sister's significantly younger than me, and when she goes to fight somebody, she likes to get in fights. And she always goes all the way up above her head with the fist, and there's an axe handle smash. I'm like, you're taking all your leverage away when you do that. It's like, why do you do that?
I've seen some girls fight on YouTube before, and I mean, I know I've seen UFC fights with chicks, and those chicks would just beat the hell out of me. But I've seen some fights on YouTube, girls in the after high school and stuff, and I've seen some awful beatdowns on there. Some of those chicks don't mess around.
Oh, you're talking about one where you grab them by the hair and you start throwing their head in the wall?
Yeah, stuff like that. Afterwards, one chick is beaten and bloody and the other one's just dancing and stuff. I always loved the post-fight celebrations.
Early when I first started training, I got beat by a girl, Tara La Rosa. She was the best on the planet, actually. I didn't realize it at the time, but she won Abu Dhabi's, if you guys are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu people out there. And I rolled with her. She's from Jersey. Anyway, good stuff.
I gotta say, I've got no losses to a female under my belt right now.
I think Tara might take you. I
don't think so. See, I'd run her over in the truck.
Yeah, in all my fights with girls, I think I'm 5-0. I think now. So, so I'm undefeated.
It was funny. Fight, so I know I can't fight. So I'll find some way to get around the fight, or I'll just cheat.
I was stronger than her, a good bit stronger than her, but she kept catching me in the transitions. She'd roll me on the side, and in my head, like as you transition from one spot to the other, that was kind of like you land and see where you are and react. But not her. She saw it coming and lay on a choke or something.
What were the rules? Like, was there no way you could just like grab her?
I was grabbing her. It didn't work.
Wait. I'm no like fighting expert, but it would just seem that like, and I'm thinking like an average girl, like 130 pounds. I weigh almost 200 pounds. Like, I think I could just like tackle her and like,
yeah, I won the takedown. I won the takedown, and then I was in her guard, so that's pretty much the missionary position. And when you're in somebody's guard, you can't really do much. They control your hips, and there's not much striking or whatever. And I wasn't pounding.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Being in somebody's guard.
Yeah.
Like,
well, right.
I gotta ask this question. Like, there's rules in like the MMA. Like, you couldn't like tackle or just elbow or right in the chin on your way down and mess like that. You can't like throw elbows and knees and mess.
No, elbows are good. You can't throw. Let's see. You can't kick when they're down in the UFC. You can't kick them in the head actually when they're on their knees or on their back or whatever. And you can't eye gouge.
Yeah, that's the worst part. Like, come on, a little eye gouging never hurt anybody.
And you can't headbutt. But
why can't you headbutt?
In the early UFC, you could headbutt, and
what's the difference? You're going to hit him in the head with your fist.
Dude, you trust me. I would much rather get punched by a fist than I ever would getting headbutted. Somebody's fucking forehead is like.
There's a lot of mass behind a headbutt.
Oh, it's not the mass.
Yeah.
It's hard as a rock.
I don't know what the theory is behind it, but my guess is it's an evolution from boxing, where you can't headbutt there, and they want you to hit with the gloves. And when
there he goes.
Woody, we got to work on your mic.
And I'm guessing.
This is awesome.
I wish I knew what to do, I've talked in this thing forever. Is it still going on?
You're good to go.
It goes for like 30 seconds, and it's like, today,
I'm sorry. I feel terrible. I use this thing all the time. I don't know what the issue is.
But
I'm guessing it's an evolution.
We should probably wrap this up soon, though, because we're about 2 hours into it now.
Yeah, all right. Way too long. I'm thinking it came from boxing rules. There's the short version.
I would.
All right.
I'd much rather get punched than ever headbutted. A headbutt will knock you. A headbutt would knock your head. It'll fuck you up. It'll split your forehead open yourself. It'll split your nose in half.
Like an axe.